Hi everybody, this is Diane. I am feeling so much better. Not that you can tell by listening to me, but I have more energy and my throat doesn't hurt, and I feel like doing things, so that's good. I did a few errands this morning, and I would really like to finish these journals. So the next step to do is to bind them. I did do some work when I wasn't feeling well, because I could sit in here quietly and do some of the work. So I did not do videos of that process. But I did tell you that I would show you how these are bound. I followed a video from Heather at Ruby and Pearl XO. Her video is about 2 years old, and I will link her video below. But I'm just going to show you how I did it also. This is one I just did now. This is the first one that I have bound like this. It's an open spine. You can see the signature right there. There's one signature inside. You can see the fabric that was used to bind it. And actually, if I untied this bow, the signature would come right out. So I am going to put a dot of glue to hold the bow in place, but if you wanted to make something like this, I think I better glue that down. Whoops. Wallpaper's coming up there. If you wanted to make something like this and maybe exchange the signatures when you're done, sort of like a traveler's notebook, you could leave it so that you could untie the bow. So I'm not going to do a flip through right now. I'm just going to go ahead and start another binding process, and I'm going to use one of the pink ones this time. So what we have is, I used a sturdy file folder, but you can use any kind of substrate. I didn't press these pokey things down, so I'm doing that while I talk. It's where the needle pokes stuff up as it goes through. It just doesn't look very pretty. You could use cereal boxes that you cover. You could use book covers. And Heather even suggested if you can't find anything to use that's the right weight, you can get an inexpensive composition book. Of course, you have to be careful because some of the composition books you can get now are really, really cheap with very thin covers. So just make sure whatever you get is a sturdy enough cover for you. This is a vintage, I don't know if you can buy them this sturdy anymore, but it's an old Pendaflex file divider that I got at the flea market. So they worked really well, and there's wallpaper on the front and back, which adds some stability. They still flex. Okay, so I have those, and mine happen to be not quite 6, so 5 7/8 it looks like, by 8 7/8, or 8 3/4. So whatever. I just cut them so that they would match the digital papers that I used. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff, the digitals and supplies that I used in this video. I'll do that when I do the flip through, but for now I'm just going to talk about the binding process. So you need your covers and you need your signature. You'll need some glue. Let me turn this a bit. You'll need, I'm using sari ribbon, but some kind of ribbon that you can use to wrap around and tie. You need a pokey tool. She used an awl that is thicker and not as sharp as mine. I have one like that. I used to use it when I made jointed teddy bears, but I have no idea where it is. And mine might be a little bit too thick anyway. But this worked for me, except for one thing, which I'll talk about in a minute. And you will need some things to bind the covers together. So these are pieces of just plain fabric. These are just a cotton fabric, and this is actually an embroidered linen piece and muslin. I think I used muslin on the other. And it doesn't matter really how wide you make them, but just for point of reference, mine are about 2.5 inches, which I think Heather's were too, by 4. So I'm going to use the embroidered pieces on this particular journal. So you can see I had this embroidered linen. It was just a scrap, and I just filled in this space with a piece of scrap lace. And here is a different embroidered linen, and I put the lace on the back side of it, but that's okay because you can still see that. So I just filled in the blank spaces with lace. But before we use that, I'm going to put the signatures together with the sari silk. So I think just to make it easier, I'm going to remove all of the extras that I have attached and stuck in pockets, just so I don't have to worry about them flopping around and getting misplaced. Okay, that's the center. So I'm going to put them together with papers down in there and just put a clip on it. You can tell spring is here. Lawns are being mowed. Mine needs it too, but I don't feel up to that today. I might have my grandson come do it for me this week. Should have had all these things removed before I started the video. Okay, so this one I'm going to put the clip on the bottom side. Where's my other clip? Oh, here it is. Make sure all the papers are nested in there together. And no measurements needed. I'm just going to take the awl and come down less than an inch from, I think it's less than an inch. Yeah, less than an inch from the top, and that's just so you have room in between the two holes to add these pieces of lace, and you don't want them so close together. So I'm going to go in there and poke a hole all the way through. There I go. I'm going to poke it all the way down so the thicker part makes a bigger hole, because I'm putting sari silk through there and not a thread. And you don't have to measure, just eyeball. It doesn't have to be completely the same. I just wiggled it around a little bit to make the hole a little bigger. So what she did was she took her sari silk, the end of her sari silk, or some portion of it, and her awl, and used the awl to poke it through the hole. But my awl is a little bit too sharp, and all it does is go right through the ribbon. Her awl was a little more blunt, and it would poke it through. So I found these needles in my stash that have a large eye. Whatever that means. 2/0 and 1. So there's different sizes, but I took one of the bigger ones. and I did manage to thread the sari silk right through that. So in order to avoid threading it twice, like I did with the other one, let me figure out I think I have to go through this way, and the ends will be on the outside. There we go. Oh dear. Oh, Heather had this problem too. This is the place where it's knotted and it won't go through. Now I have to thread that needle again. Okay, well, you can watch and see. I did have some difficulty threading it this time, but let's see if I can do it better. I'm just kind of twisting up the end as small as I can make it, and I try to get some corner of it poking through that hole enough so that I can pull it out the other side. And if you're wondering, I do have my tongue sticking out of my mouth. You know, you have to do that when you're concentrating. Okay, that looks like a pretty good size. Let's see if that will pull it all through. It does. Okay, we're in business. Let's do that again. Go through there. And this is a really long piece, so I don't need to go all the way. And I'll put that through. And I'm done with the needle here. I just want to make sure I leave it long enough to tie. And cut it off. Oh, these are not my fabric scissors. Okay. And I can take the clips off now, and I can set this aside. Oh no, I'm not going to set it aside. I'm not going to tie it yet though. I'll take the back cover and put it to the back of the journal. Make sure you have everything facing the way you want it, right side up, and the front of the cover right on top. And line your signature up where you want it, and also to the back, not extending out beyond the covers. If you have to, it can be slightly inside, but not sticking out. And then it's all in place. I can take my linen piece and glue it. I do not want to put glue on the whole piece. I only want glue on the ends that are going to touch the covers. I don't want glue on the end that's going to, or on the center, that will come across there where the signature is exposed. So I'm just going to put over an inch. I'll cover that up with glue. So today is Monday. You will see this video on Tuesday. So hopefully I will have these journals in the shop on Wednesday. There will be a flip through video telling you exactly how it will go, whether they're in there right away or if they will be scheduled. One of the journals is spoken for, I will say that. One got reserved. Okay, so that's on there. Maybe it's a little too close to that ribbon. So you do want to make sure that your ribbon is on the outside of the fabric tabs, so you can tie the tabs in when you tie the ribbon. So now I'm going to make sure the cover is where I need it to be. and carefully flip it over. And I'm going to put glue on both ends of this, and I'll show you what I mean, why I'm doing both at the same time. That is a really gloppy piece of glue there. Okay, I'm going to pick the cover up and hold it. I don't want to pinch this down because you want room for expansion here. So I'm holding this part down, and hopefully that will hold the covers level and not pop it open here. You see what I mean? So I'm holding it down here. It doesn't pop it open here because it's thicker here because of all the things I've added. So I'm just going to fold this over, and I'm not pulling it real tight. I think I want a little tighter than that, so that there's room for growth. And then lay that down. And all you have to do is tie this. You can tie it with the bow here in the center, or you can tie it with the bow up at the top, whatever you prefer. And make your bow as big or as small as you like. And as Heather said, you can add some strings here and put some charms on it if you wanted to, some beads. She cut hers a lot closer, but I'm leaving it right there for now, and I can decide later if I want to cut them shorter. But if I cut them shorter now, I can't change my mind. Okay, so then you open it up and you can see the fabric there. There's the sari silk and the fabric here. Now I'm just going to go through and put my things back in. So I took them out front to back, so I'm going to put them back in, back to front. I put this in upside down. Oh no, I didn't. I tied the bow upside down. Good, because let's see, I'm glad I didn't cut that too short. I think I'll tie it in the center now. Check that out before you cut your strings. Okay, now we have a little bow there, and I'll cut that off. Yep. Gotta go back to front. Or I could flip the pile over, but I always do it this way. Like I said, I'll talk about the items that I'm inserting. Oh, this goes back here when I do the flip through. So this isn't what you're used to with junk journals with the binding. It might feel a little loosey-goosey because it's not, it's because it's done differently, and it's kind of a loose spine because there's wiggle room with the fabric, and then the sorry silk isn't as tight a hold as the waxed linen thread that we usually use. But it's just a one signature journal, and I think it'll hold everything just fine. I don't have anything for in there. And in here, that's a pouch there. I'm sorry. I took cough medicine just before I started the video. I did get to make some of the elements on video before I got sick. So you did see some of them like this. And there we go. You could tie this if you want to, around it if you want to. There's that one. I guess I'll just do another one since you're right here and I'm right here, and I have two more to make. This one has a pocket on it, so I have to make sure I get it the right direction. I won't take out the things that are clipped this time, just the things that might fall out of the pockets. And I just adjusted. I want to adjust things where they are, whether I want them to move up or down before I sew them in. This one didn't have anything in there. If you come back for the flip through, I'll talk about the digital pages that I used and other elements. I think the less talking I do today, the better. Wait till I get there. I want all the things to be in order. This feels bulkier down here for some reason. I don't know what's creating that bulk. And see, it's like it doesn't want to nest down there. Something is creating bulk. I wonder if it's this ribbon, this lace. It went over, maybe it went over the seam or the fold. Nope. Okay. I'm going to poke my holes. I'm going to fold this while I poke the hole, and hopefully that will help it to go right on the fold. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes if they're not nesting very well, you'll end up with your hole coming out on the front or the back instead of on the fold. Now I'm going to put a blue sari silk piece in here. Get rid of some of these threads. Right there is a tie. You have to be careful with the sari silk because they are tied together in places that will be inconvenient. Where's the other end? Okay. And there's a tie there, but I think that can, we're going to try it. One good thing is these needle eyes are so big even I can see them without holding it right next to my face. Ooh, get it. Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay. Now, I keep this tool with my binding supplies for when I have trouble coming through all of the layers. It's tearing the paper. Why are you not coming through? Wow. There. Man. The other ones weren't that hard. Okay. That might be where the tie part is. So I'm just going to leave that there. See if we can get through this one. That was a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to just leave those ties where they are. I have one piece that has a little bit of blue on it. So that goes here because the other blue cover is already done. And I use different laces for each piece. I use the same lace here, so this will go on a different cover. Just for some fun. You could use fabric without lace if you just have a pretty fabric that you want to showcase. So just use fabric or whatever kind of embellishment you want to put on top of the fabric. You could use fun, cheery colors. It doesn't have to be all neutral like these. Okay, make sure I am below that sari piece and above this sari piece. Would probably be a good idea to lay these on and kind of eyeball it and see if you have too much length on these. I didn't do that, but they're kind of all the same. I did mine all the same because you might want to cut some length off so you don't have too much give here and too much fabric there. All right, this might be too close to my sari. I'm going to pick this up. Heather didn't do this, like picking it up and holding it. But I thought that would be the best way for me to not pinch down here. So you can see there's lots of give there. Yeah, I think I put this piece a little too close to that. Sorry silk, but I think it'll be okay. At least it's on the right side of it, so it's going to hold it in. Just want to make sure that I am tying it at the top this time. So you can tie it nice and snug and try not to pull too hard, because remember the silk is coming through a hole in your papers, and you might make them bigger. I think for this one I'm going to leave it long. I think this has a more whimsical look, so I think the longer ties on the ribbon would look more whimsical. Isn't that pretty? So there's one. So one of the whimsical ones is reserved. She didn't specify which one at this point after she sees this video. She may or she may not care, but she said she just tended to like the more whimsical, maybe the whimsical papers, I don't know, but she liked the more whimsical ones. So one of these will be reserved, but one will be in the shop, and this will be in the shop. And this one will be in the shop. So if you don't remember, if you didn't see the other video, the introduction video, I have two of the more traditional rose designs and traditional designs on the digitals. And one of them is with a new wallpaper and one was with antique or vintage wallpaper. This was very fragile. It doesn't seem like it would be now, but it was fragile. This one is very fragile, and you can see the creases from where it was bent, but I really like the way that looks. So this was the antique paper, and this is the new paper. It came out of Wallpaper Books from Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie. I just have to put this one together and then finish filling up the pockets and just the finishing touches, and then we'll be ready to get these in the shop. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this process, and I hope you'll come back to see what the next project is going to be. Have a creative day. Bye.